everyone, today I'll be sharing with you how I use the feelings kit to help to balance my emotions, because as you know, as a living human being, we all have emotions, whether it is big or small. But I think for women, right, women tends to be emotional, and yeah, and even for men, I think they have emotions, just that they suppress it really well. But actually, if you are going to suppress your emotions, it's not going to serve you like in the long run as well, because it's like if you keep suppressing your emotions, it actually gives rise to diseases. You can actually refer to this Alchemy of Healing by Louise Hay. It actually explores about like the various different kind of illnesses, symptoms and diseases, and how are they linked to your emotions. And I feel that it is very accurate. So I'll actually leave the link somewhere in this video so that you can refer to that and better understand about your emotions. So without further ado, let's get started. So Gary Young has actually formulated this feelings kit. It comprises of 6 different essential oil blends that are, you know, like purple labeled. So all these purple oils are very much used for emotional support. So these blends are like in a particular order is Valo, Harmony, Forgiveness, Presence, Time, Release, and Inner Child. So these are also like the feelings kit oils, right? You can use them individually if you want for like specific purposes, but you can, like, for a start, it's better for you to use it like as per the entire set, because you get the whole holistic benefits from this entire kit. Because when I first started my emotional support journey, I started off with a bottle of Release, and the cap is rather different because I attached the roller fitment onto it so that I can just apply it on myself whenever I feel like, you know, uneasy. But I realized that just using Release, right, is not really enough to balance my emotions, which is why I embarked on this feelings kit protocol. So this is actually the entire set of oils that you have to use it in a particular order to help to balance your emotions. And after using, like, actually 3 weeks plus into this, I oil myself every single night, except for some nights I forgot. Then yeah, you know, stuff like that happen all the time. But I've been actually very consistent about oiling myself with the feelings kit, and I realized that my emotions are a lot more balanced. Yeah, I can feel that when, you know, shit happens to me, like, yeah, shit yeah, bad things happen to me, I don't react like instantly, because for me, I'm short-tempered. So whenever like somebody press the trigger button, I'll just react to it very negatively. So I realized that, hey, I don't react to it anymore. So yeah, thanks to the feelings kit. And I've been trying this on my husband. I've been marinating him every night. I think it's about 2 weeks plus now, and I can see like there's improvement in his temperament. Yeah, because for my husband, he tends to suppress all his emotions, and he has a lot of anger issues that's within him, a lot of frustrations, especially like after the passing on of my father-in-law. He still can't seem to let go of all these emotions of guilt, emotions of regret. Yeah, so the feelings kit, actually I realized that it helps with his emotions, like how he manage his EQ. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so the very first oil from the feelings kit would be Valo. So the Valo that comes with the feeling kit is Valo 2. I personally prefer the scent of Valo 1 because it's the original version and it smells much sweeter. But if you're going to use it like on a daily basis, I would recommend Valo 2 because it's cheaper. And for myself, the feelings kit, right, I didn't buy like the whole kit at once. I just buy my oils a la carte because, you know, emotional oils are very expensive because they contain like essential oils such as frankincense, sandalwood, ylang-ylang geranium. All these are really costly. So I just collected my oils one by one till I get the Feelings Kit. Yeah, and for Valo 2, how you apply it is actually you can apply it to the bottoms of your feet. So that's this is the starting and the ending of the Feelings Kit protocol, because Valo actually helps to balance your emotions. So it's used for balancing. So you just use it as a start and also to end off the things, like how you would do with the raindrop technique massage. Yeah. So for Valo, there's a version 1 which it comes in a roll-on as well, and it also comes with like the 5 mils one. So for myself, if I'm going to like go traveling or go out, I'll keep a bottle of Valo roll-on in my purse. So what I do with this, normally, because it's like when I'm outside, I don't roll it to my feet, and yeah, you know, it's stinky. So I wouldn't want to like contaminate my oils by rolling it to my feet. So what I do with, oh nice, okay, Valo 1 is that I will just apply it to my wrist. And you can see Valo, it actually has a blue tinge to it due to the blue tansy in it. And it smells really sweet, and it's really very, very grounding, because Valo, the meaning of Valo in English means courage. Yeah, so it gives you courage and confidence. So I do get anxiety attacks, especially when I run like Facebook Lives or even host classes. Even until now, you know, I do get like those mini panic attacks and also stage frights. Yeah, so it's like I need to prep myself, ground myself up. So what I do is just apply it to my wrist, because this is where our pulse is. So our pulse is always like poop, 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 poop. Yeah, it's always moving, and it helps to disperse the oil, so I get to smell it like for a longer period of time. And you can also like apply it behind your ears, and also like along your brainstem. Like the brainstem is actually behind your neck, like the spinal cord there lah. So somewhere here. So that's the brainstem area. So these are a few ways you can apply your oils. And yeah, scents, aroma and scents actually helps to support our emotions, because it's like when we smell certain things, it actually makes us feel wow, so much better, right? Yeah. So this is how the emotional oils help to support our emotions. You can apply it, you can diffuse it, or you can just smell it. Yeah, so this is first step, which is Valo. It helps with balancing. So the second oil blend from the Feelings Kit would be Harmony. So Harmony, like what the name suggests, it actually harmonizes our emotions and also the entire body system. So what we do when it comes to like essential oils, right? Because essential oils, different oils and different blends have different frequency, and also like with the human body, it's like different emotions have different frequency as well. If you're feeling very down, your frequency might be really low, and essential oils, they have like a very high frequency, so it's like higher. So when you apply all these oils, or you just smell it, it actually brings your frequency up. So it's like sometimes when you smell citrusy oils like lemon, orange, tangerine, you feel very uplifted. So this is how essential oils work with balancing your emotions, making you feel better at certain times. So for Harmony, you just apply it to the chakra points of your body. I'm not very like, you know, pro in this energy studies lah. I just know that there are like the 7 energy centers, which is known as the chakra points. So the very first one would be the crown chakra, which is like on top of your head. That's the crown. And the third eye is somewhere here. And throat chakra, throat and heart. And there's a solar plex chakra, which is like above your navel, like your belly button, 2 inches above. That's the solar plex. And there's a sacral chakra, which is like below your belly button, like 2 inches below. And there's a base or the root chakra, which is like at your tailbone area at your back. Yeah, I'll flash the chakra chart somewhere like in this video, so that you can refer to it and you know where to apply your oils. But in the event that you apply your oils on the wrong places, it's okay. Yeah, it won't do like much very big difference, like you won't die from it. Just that maybe you might not get like as good results from it. Just yeah, not as good like results lah. But for me, still okay, because it's like for my husband, right? I've been marinating him, and I'm the one doing the marination job. He won't let me like touch him like in so many places, right? So normally what I do is just like onto his crown chakra, his third eye. That's where the areas that I can touch lah. Then also a bit on the throat lah. If his mood is good, he lets me do the marination job. Yeah, otherwise it will be just just put a bit on the crown, because I do the feelings kit, right? I apply on myself like with 1-2 drops. I do myself first, then I got remaining, I just do it on him. So it's on the way and by the way thing, and we are doing it like on the bed lah. He's lying beside me, so I can do myself and do him. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I manage like to do feelings kit on my spouse. So if you have like very stubborn husbands, right, you can try doing it on them. It helps to kind of like soothe their emotions a little. Oh, the very third blend in the feelings kit would be forgiveness, because forgiveness is what allows you to move on. I know like for some women like myself, I tend to bear a lot of grudges. Yeah, and it's like if somebody steps on my tail, I'll remember this person like for a lifetime. Yeah, so you better not come and step on my tail. That's my warning to you. Yeah, so forgiveness is a way for you to move on, because it's like sometimes you just carry with you all the past hurts, the past anger, the past frustration. It won't allow you to move on, and it feels like harboring this kind of hatred is like drinking poison yourself and hoping that the other party will die, because it happens to me all the time. Like my husband makes me angry, I'm like so pissed off with him, like I can feel like my heart is literally aching. I'm very pissed off, I want to kill him, but he's still like so happy, still can eat, still can drink, still can sleep, right? So it's really like drinking poison and hoping the other party will die. Yeah, so forgiveness is really important. Like sometimes you don't forgive others, and most of the times for myself as well, I don't forgive myself. I tend to be very critical upon myself, like I should have done this, I could have done this, why didn't I do it? Yeah, so this is where I need to forgive other people and myself in order to move on. Yeah, otherwise I'll be like stuck in this cycle, like in the past. It's not good, to be stuck in that cycle. So for forgiveness, what we do is apply it to the navel area, which is your belly button, if you don't know what's navel. So for myself, I'm a bit lazy to like pour the oil myself and then do this and then apply it to my navel. I just drip 1 drop direct into my belly button, and I realized that hey, after I oil my belly button, right, I realized that my belly button becomes a lot cleaner, because last time got like, I don't know, sometimes you're lazy to bathe yourself and not bathe yourself, like scrub yourself there, right? It tends to collect quite a lot of dirt inside, trapped inside, like sometimes got black and then smells quite bad lah. Oops, am I like revealing too much information? Yeah, so it's like for forgiveness, right, I realized that after I drip this onto my navel, it's very clean now. Like all the dirt just drop off by itself, so I should have like oiled myself earlier. Yeah, so that's how forgiveness do. So when you apply forgiveness onto yourself, you can say some positive affirmations or like forgiveness statements, like I forgive you for, or I forgive myself for, such things like that, because it's like if you verbalize it, it actually gets rooted into your brain and your memory, and it kind of like start doing some work in the back end. Yeah, so forgiveness is really, really important. So after applying forgiveness, forgiving yourself and other people, the next blend from the feelings kit would be present time. So like what this oil blend suggests, it actually brings you back to the present time. So have you heard of this thing called like mindfulness and living in the present? Because it's like in our city life is very, very busy, and every time we'll be worrying about the future. Like you today haven't even eat your breakfast, right? You'll be thinking about tomorrow, what should I eat, what should I wear? Yeah, so stuff like that. It gives you a lot of anxiety and unnecessarily stress. And also like what I speak about forgiveness earlier is like if you're stuck in the past, you are not living in the present as well. So after releasing your past hurts and all that, you move on and you need to live in the present, because it's like it's only now, like in the present, that I get to make different choices on how I want to change the results that I want in future. So living in the present is very, very important. So what I do with present time is that I'll drip a drop onto my wrist. So just rub my wrist together and deeply inhale it, and also apply it to the back of my ear. You can just like do 1 round like this if you have like a lot of time. So normally I just like at the back of my ear, and I'll just go, I have like remaining, don't waste, because it's like present time is also another very expensive oil blend. So I have remaining, I'll just go to my husband and marinate him in the ears. So that's all for present time for me. So the next oil after present time would be release. So release actually helps to release feelings of anger, frustrations, and all the negative emotions that you might be facing. It's also the very first emotional support oil blend that I bought for myself, and I have really good results from using this blend just by using it alone, because I feel like more at peace with myself. Just that when I use the entire feelings kit, right, I realized I can kind of like express myself better and control my emotions even better. So one small story about myself and my husband when I started using release. Like the first week I didn't even know how to apply release. I just dump it into my diffuser and just let it run throughout the night. And boy, like during the first week when I was doing this, right, I had very bad nightmares. Like all my worst nightmare just pop up from my mind, and I can wake up like with teary eyes, like I was crying in my sleep. Yeah, so that was how traumatic that can be, like all the negative things just get released in my nightmares, in my dreams. And whereas some people, when I heard their stories about using release, some they apply it on themselves, and yeah, for those who like really suppress their emotions for too long, right, suddenly they just break down and cry, and then that's emotional release for them. After crying, they feel so much better. So for myself, I get nightmares, and I introduced it to one of my members. She tried it for 1 week, and she said that she started getting nightmares as well. And also for my husband, when I started like doing the entire feelings kit on him, he said like the first week when he was on the feelings kit, then the first week he said he cannot sleep. Yeah, because the nightmares was very bad. He kept dreaming about like my late father-in-law. Yeah, so I think there's a lot of release work that needs to be done. Just have to go back and face your trauma, and so that you can move on. So for release, right, normally it's like when I first started, I just attached the roller ball to it, and I just apply it to my wrist, and also like behind my ears where I can smell it. It smells really good, like it has ylang ylang in it and geranium, and it helps to gives you some peace. And you can apply it over your heart as well if somebody makes you very angry. And one way is also apply it over your liver area, because liver is where it stores a lot of toxins. So for this feelings kit, it is recommended that you apply release to your liver. So where's your liver, right? Your liver is actually below the right hand side of your boob, right? Because I think this video is a bit inverted. So the right hand side of your boob is just below your right boob. So that's where the liver is at. Yeah, and one more thing about release, right, is that when you're applying this oil blend, you can also say your release statement, such as I release feelings of anger, of hurt, I choose joy, I choose freedom over my emotions. Yeah, stuff like that. It kind of like affirms you. And because it's like when I'm doing the feelings kit, right, my husband is beside me, so I cannot like say things like that, right? Then he'll be like wondering what's this xiao zha bo doing. So I just apply my oils, and I think it's good enough. Especially like for very busy individuals, you wouldn't want to like I release, it's a bit of a hassle. So that's also one way you can do your release. And okay, so the very last blend that I want to talk about from the feelings kit would be inner child, because I kind of like believe that every one of us have a child living within us. It's like we grow up with this childlike innocence, and throughout like our growing up years, we lose that childlike innocence because of the environments, like because of some incidents that happen to us. Like for instance, when I was a kid, I used to be the only child for the first 8 years of my life, and I felt very lonely. And I always would want to go to my neighbor's house and want to play with my neighbor's kid lah. Then my neighbor got irritated by me. Then she would like lock her child up in the room and say that her child is not around. So the feelings of dejection, rejection. So I grew up thinking that, oh, so it's wrong to request for people to play with me. So yeah, so that's one of the childhood hurt that I had. So inner child actually brings back this childlike innocence into me. Yeah, and I love the sense of inner child. In fact, this is like one of my favorite blends from the feelings kit, inner child. The next favorite one would be release and Valo. Those are like all the sweet smelling emotional support oils. So what you do with inner child, right, is just one drop onto your palm. I did too. Okay, and just apply it under your nose so that you get to smell it, and it smells citrusy. It's very uplifting, it's very nice. Oh, it just smells so good. So this is very easy because it's like after I do it myself, especially when I always have accidents, I get 2 drops. Yeah, I have remaining, I'll just, you know, give it to my husband, like just pat it under his nose, and that's it, we can go to sleep. And oh yeah, I forgot about like the last step, Valo, right? So you can just apply Valo as the last step over the soles of the feet again to have the entire balancing going on. But normally, like for the past 2 weeks, I forgot about Valo as the last step, because after inner child, very happy, you know, can go to sleep. And it works, you know, it still works. Yeah. So if you are a bit more gasu, you want like the complete experience, you can just end off with Valo for the balancing. So I'm done with the fillings kit. I hope that you guys kind of like benefited from this session, and do get the fillings kit from your essential rewards order. That's how you get to earn like the rebates from your order, and that's how you benefit from it as a member. And yeah, do share with me your experience using the entire fillings kit. I would really love to hear from you how it helps with your emotional support. So that's it for today. Goodbye.